Hey guys, welcome to Home Sweet Homeschool. My name is Ashley and I'm a homeschooling mom to one. And today I'm participating in a collab with some other homeschool mamas all about overcoming a bad school year. So after you finish watching my video, please look in the description box below, click on the playlist, and watch these other mamas share how they overcame a bad school year. And make sure you like this video and share this video with anybody you think needs just a little bit of encouragement for this school year. So, let's start. I'm going to share with you some of our struggles that we faced in our first year of homeschooling. This is just our second year. But I came into my first year thinking that homeschool was going to be butterflies and rainbows and sparkles and unicorns and all those wonderful things. And boy, was I completely wrong. It was a lot harder than that, and most days there was no rainbow to be found. So, I was just in for a really rude awakening. And after I sat and thought about what's the problem? What's going on here? Why are we having such a hard time? Why is my son coming to me every day in tears and angry? And some days, some of those tears were even mine. It was so hard. And you know what I realized? Our biggest hurdle in our homeschool year last year was me. I was the problem. I was doing things that were sabotaging our homeschool year. And so today I'm going to share with you what I did that kind of messed up our year, and then how we turned it around and how this year has been so much better. So you have to remember, I was coming from public school. I was used to having a scheduled day, and so for some reason I thought that I needed to have a full packed schedule at home. And really all I was doing was replicating public school at home, which is what I was trying to get away from. So I'm not really sure why I did that. So we had this full day. I was trying to teach 10 things a day, guys, plus morning basket with our read aloud. It was pure insanity. And when I thought about it, I thought, you're the problem, woman. You got to change this. So that was our first problem, was having that full packed schedule. The second thing I did that sabotaged our homeschool year was I had curriculum that just didn't work for my son. So when it was time to sit down and do work, he was miserable. He would cry through it. He would fuss. He would complain. He would put it off as much as he could. And one thing that I've learned from Julie Bogart from Brave Writer is if there's tears, there is no learning taking place. So I'm not sure what he learned last year, because I think most days were met with tears and frustration. And the third thing that I did to sabotage our homeschool was I did not like for us to take days off, and if we had to go on a field trip, it stressed me out. I couldn't handle it. You know, I had that pretty schedule that was all typed up and in different colors, and our days were just packed full of things that didn't work for my son. And if a field trip or a day off came up, I was like, oh my goodness, how are we going to get this all done? You're going to have to work harder. You're going to have to do double up and do this on Friday. Okay, that's miserable. And it made us have a terrible year. So if you're doing these three things right now, stop. Stop what you're doing. It doesn't have to be this way. So this is what happened. We did all of this till about the end of November. And I was like, oh my goodness, we're just going to take December off. So the month of December, we just did fun December themed things. We put our curriculum aside and we just did December stuff, okay? So I thought, January is going to be better. I don't know why I thought that. We were still doing the same schedule. We were still using the same curriculum, and I still hadn't loosened up on that taking days off. So I don't know why I thought it was going to be any different, but it wasn't. It wasn't. So in January, that's when I discovered Julie Bogart. I discovered Brave Writer, and I started watching just tons of homeschooling mamas. I was looking for a better way. I knew there had to be a better way because what we were doing wasn't working. So I did all this research, and I read and I watched everything that I could to figure out how to be more relaxed, more interest-led for my son, all that. So before we went on spring break in April, I sat down with my son and I'm like, hey, we've got to change some things. And he was so happy. He's like, yeah, we sure do. Like, you're a crazy woman. You got to change some things. So we sat down and we came up with ways that we could turn our homeschool year around so that we could end on a good note and start this new year on the right foot. So this is what we did. We decided we would work it out, and how we turned that whole thing around was like this. The first thing we did is we sat down and we took that schedule, and you know what I did? I threw it away. That was rigid and strict, and it was not what we wanted, and it was just bogging us down, making us have a terrible year. And we came up with a routine. And if you want to see the routine that we used and that we came up with in March, there's a video on my channel all about our homeschool routine. I sat with my son, now he is 10, so he was able to make this routine with me. And we decided what things that he would know to expect in the morning. After he eats breakfast, but before he eats lunch, what are some things that we can get done in our day? Chores, playtime, a little bit of schoolwork. He had the ability to voice his opinion. He's like, okay, I can do these chores in the morning. I can do 2 things for school. And so I had to let go of my controlling, scheduling, nagging ways and just be like, okay, that sounds great. So he helped me develop the routine. So he knew what was expected of him in the morning, in the afternoon, and at nighttime. So I made that routine for him. When we first started out, he would go and check it off. But at this point, he's learned that routine and he doesn't have to go and check those things off anymore. So now I've just kind of made him a chart that says I'm responsible for. So if you watch that routine, it has changed. It hasn't really changed so much as we've just moved away from it because he knows what's expected of him. So there's no rigid schedule. You know, things have just really relaxed. He's kind of making choices. He chooses when he wants to start school. He knows that he has to have 3 school things done before he eats lunch, but he gets to pick. He picks when he wants to do them. He picks the order he wants to do them in. If he wants to start with art, we start with art. If he wants to start with science, we start with science. So if you're on this tight, rigid schedule and it's just not working for you, maybe you need a routine. So check out my routine video if you want that. The second thing I did was he helped choose the curriculum. The one thing that we knew that worked, and he even said it, was I like my math. We do master books, math lessons for a living education, and so that's what we went with for this year. If you like something and it's working, keep it. Don't change it up. If it works, there's no reason to change it. But I let him sit down. I showed him the Brave Writer Arrow Guides, and I showed him how we could use our read aloud to learn language arts and to work on writing, because writing he cannot stand. And so I needed him to be on board, you know, with learning something new. So I showed him that. And I also, I know he loves animals, and so what we did is we sat down and we looked at different zoology curriculums, and he ended up picking the Apologia Zoology. So you got to have buy-in from your kids. And so letting them give their opinion of, hey, I like this, or I don't think that's going to work, it really makes a difference. So he did sit down with me and we looked through curriculum and we went and found the things that worked for him. And so that's made a big difference. Huge turnaround just by changing up the curriculum. I'm no longer met with tears when it's time to do language arts. I no longer have him fighting and avoiding having to write. We have the buy-in. He picked this curriculum out and he's interested in it. So I don't have the pushback that I had last year. And the third thing we did is I have really relaxed about, hey, we need the day off. It's okay to have a day where you are not swamped with schoolwork. And it is okay to take field trips and not come back and do work. That was really hard for me to let go, but I've learned to just let it go, because when we're out at co-op or out with our co-op friends, like just today we went with our co-op friends to a park and it has a spring the kids can play in and all that good stuff. There was learning happening right there. Just because it wasn't coming from a book or a worksheet or a documentary, that's okay. He was still learning. And so I've really learned to just let it go. I have a whole year. We're going to get the work done, and the work is going to happen. So, if you're needing some encouragement and things are just not going as planned, think about what you can change. What are some easy things you can change? Your routine can be changed, your curriculum can be changed, and you can take days off when you need to. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that it helped someone out there, someone that maybe is very type A like me and loves schedules and checklists, and I like to be busy. So I hope this helps someone. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Please share this, and please also go watch these other mamas in our playlist share their encouraging words for how to overcome a bad school year. Thanks for watching.